Now let's move to the Almanac daily page and familiarize ourselves with the data given on the daily page of the Almanac. So on every daily page or every day page, there are two pages in the Almanac, the left hand side page and the right hand side page. Right now I have opened the top of the left hand side page. Now this one page serves 3 different days. As you can see here, this particular day refers to March 7th, 8th and 9th, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. So the data for these 3 dates is given on a single page. Now the first column which you see here gives you the GMT. This is the date, and then you have the hours from 00, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 24. Then the first column which you have after the date and hour is the Aries column, and you have the GHA of the Aries given to you for every GMT hour. The GHA is given in degrees and minutes. So for any day of the year, for any hour of that day, you can obtain what was the GHA Aries or what will be the GHA Aries at that particular day and hour. Now, if you want to get the GHA for a particular minute also, for a day, hour and minutes, then to this hourly figure, you will have to apply the increment for those many minutes and seconds. So let us say you want to find out the GHA of Aries for 7th March, 06 hours, 30 minutes and 30 seconds. So up to 06 hours, the value is available here, 255 degrees, 23.4 minutes. For 30 minutes and 30 seconds, you have to go to the increment table. You have to get the increment from there and add that increment to this value. You will get the GHA Aries for any particular day, hour, minute and second in the entire year. The declination of Aries is not given because first point of Aries always remains on the equinoctial. Its declination is always 0. There is no change in its declination. After Aries, you have the 4 planets given to you: Venus, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn. The first figure which is given along with the planet name is its magnitude, the stellar magnitude, which gives us an idea about the brightness of these planets on that particular day. The brightness of the planets can change on a daily basis depending upon what is their location or position in the orbit around the Earth, around the Sun. The Earth and the planet both are revolving around the Sun, and depending upon the positions in their orbits, the brightness or magnitude of planets may vary. Now, under every planet column, you have the GHA and declination given to you for every GMTR. And as mentioned, in case of Aries, if you want it for a particular minute and second, you will have to add the increment. I'll show you the increment table in the coming slides.
Excuse me, sir.
Go ahead, beta. Tell me your doubt.
सर ये जो ये वीनस के बगल में लिखा है -3.8, जिससे उसका स्टेलर मतलब मैग्नीट्यूड है ना उस दिन का?
That's right, beta. It is the stellar magnitude of Venus.
ओके सर, ओके
ओके। और बताओ बेटा, और क्या डाउट्स हैं?
उस दिन का मतलब सर ये मतलब हर मतलब ये जो दिया हुआ चेंज करता रहता सर ये मतलब और भी है?
That's right. It keeps on changing. That's why you will see the magnitude given on the daily page.
Every day, sir. Every day.
See, this one page is for 3 days. So for this 3 days, it is not going to change. But in the next 3 days, the value could change, beta. It could be 3.7 or 3.9.
वैसे सर हर दिन चेंज करती है उसकी वैल्यू? अगर
बेटा जरूरी नहीं
practically
है
देखा
कि
जाए।
हर दिन चेंज करेगी,
सर 8th 9th डे चेंज हो रही है सर।
आस्क अगेन बेटा।
सर अराउंड मतलब ऐसे डेली पेजेस में देखेंगे तो 8th 9th डे चेंज हो रही है, रेगुलर चेंज नहीं हो रही।
Okay, all right. It can change, and the rate of change is not fixed. It is variable. It basically depends upon कि सन के अराउंड अपने ऑर्बिट में वो प्लेनेट कहाँ पे है, राइट बेटा?
ओके सर।
सर ये -3.8 फिर ये प्लस माइनस मतलब सर सबसे कम ब्राइटनेस रहेगा, ऐसा कुछ है?
ओके, जो ये प्लस और माइनस साइंस हैं बेटा, दिस इज व्हाट द स्टेलर मैग्नीट्यूड स्केल इज। स्टेलर मैग्नीट्यूड स्केल में जैसे जैसे ऑब्जेक्ट ब्राइट होता है उसका मैग्नीट्यूड नंबर डिक्रीज होता है। लाइक अभी आप ये चारों प्लैनेट्स देख रहे हो, द वीनस इज एट -3.8, मार्स इज +0.1, जुपिटर इज -2.5, सैटर्न इज +0.5। तो इनमें से सबसे ज़्यादा ब्राइट जो ऑब्जेक्ट है on this particular day, that is Venus with -3.8. Second most bright is Jupiter, -2.5. Third bright is Mars, which is 0.1, and the least bright is Saturn, which is +0.5. जैसे जैसे ऑब्जेक्ट ब्राइट होता है मैग्नीट्यूड नंबर डिक्रीज करता है, इट कैन गो इन द माइनस रेंज ऑल्सो, और जैसे जैसे ऑब्जेक्ट डिम होता है उसका स्टेलर मैग्नीट्यूड नंबर इंक्रीज होता है। लाइक मैक्सिमम नंबर वी हैव फॉर सैटर्न इज द ब्राइटेस्ट ऑन दिस डे, सॉरी द डिमेस्ट ऑन दिस डे।
सर ये जो एल्मनाक का पेज है ये 1992 का सर वो छोटी वाली बुक है, कंप्लीट एल्मनाक है सर?
नो बेटा, दिस इज नॉट फ्रॉम 1992। ये मैंने आई गॉट ए मोर क्लियर पेज फ्रॉम द नेट। दिस इज आई थिंक फ्रॉम 2016 और समथिंग।
क्योंकि सर 1992 में सर ये पेज नहीं है 7 8 9 वाला मार्च का।
Yeah, that's there. That's not there. That's right.
ओके सर।
Okay. और बेटा और कोई डाउट? Okay. Shall we move ahead now?
सर एग्जाम के लिए ये वाला एल्मैक चाहिए होगा क्या 2016 वाला?
नहीं बेटा नहीं, एग्जाम के लिए आपको 1992 का एल्मैक ही चाहिए। MMD एग्जाम्स आर बेस्ड ऑन 1992 एल्मैक।
ओके सर, थैंक यू।
Okay, let's move ahead now.
So you have the GHA and declination mentioned for all the planets. Then you come to the column on the right hand side. This is the column for stars. So you see a list of all the stars mentioned here. This list is given in alphabetical order, and this list gives you 57 selected stars. These are the 57 stars which are most often used for site taking, and they are given here for quick accessibility. Whatever date page you open, you will be able to get the star data from here. What is the data given along with the stars? They have given you the SHA, sidereal R angle, and the declination of each and every star on this page. The names are given in alphabetical order. You can see starting from A and going to B, C, D, and so on. Let's now go to the bottom part of the left-hand side daily page. This is the bottom part. The first column is the Aries column. And at the bottom of this column, you see they have given you the meridian passage of Aries. It's given as 12 hours, 53.4 minutes. This meridian passage is given in LMT. This is not GMT. The times given here with the date were the GMT times. but the time given at bottom, the meridian passage time, is in LMT. This is the LMT meridian passage of Aries. Now, under the planet columns, you see 4 columns. These were for 4 planets: Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Under the planet column, you will see the value of V correction and D correction. Victor correction, V correction, and delta correction, D correction. What is this V and D correction for? V correction is used to obtain the GHA of a planet. The hourly GHA is picked up from the daily page. The increment for minute and second is picked up from the increment table. And after applying the hourly figure and the increment, you have to apply the V correction also. The V correction which is given here is for 1 hour, and for whatever minutes you are applying it, you will get the value for this particular V correction in the increment table. I'll show you the increment table after in the next coming slides. So this V correction is for 1 hour. The V correction which is to be used for that particular minute is given in the increment table. Same way, the D correction is applied to the declination.
Go ahead, beta.
सर ये अपना -0.6 मतलब क्या है सर? जैसे V और D करेक्शन इंक्रीमेंट टेबल में डायरेक्ट देख लेते हैं सर, जैसे V और D, V की वैल्यू आ रही है उसके करस्पॉन्डिंग वैल्यू देख ली मिनट्स में, पर माइनस से क्या सिग्निफिकेंस है सर?
ओके बेटा, V करेक्शन माइनस सिर्फ वीनस के केस में होती है, एंड इफ इट इज माइनस दैट मीन्स यू हैव टू सबट्रैक्ट इट. ओके, जब आप इसे GHA में अप्लाई करोगे, the negative V correction has to be subtracted.
Okay, sir.
Okay, for all other bodies, the V correction is positive and it has to be added.
मतलब 0.6 पे देखेंगे, जो आएगा उसे माइनस कर देंगे, it will be okay, right sir?
Right, you will enter with this 0.6 figure in the increment table, and increment table से आपको जो भी particular minute में आपने enter किया है, वहाँ से इसका increment मिलेगा. That is what you are going to add, or sorry, that is what you are going to subtract from the hourly figure. Okay, beta, all right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's proceed ahead.
The hourly figure of declination is obtained from the daily page, the date page, and the D correction is applied for any minute and seconds. So this value of D given here is for 1 hour. The value which you require for any particular minute and second will be given in the increment table. So we have the V and D correction given for all the 4 planets. One important thing, if you have observed here, the V correction for Venus, this is the first planet, the first column is for Venus, it could be in the negative range. You see, it is minus 0.6, whereas the V correction for all the other planets is always positive. Then on the right hand side, you see bottom part, right hand side, you have the SHA of all the 4 planets. Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, their SHA is mentioned here. And along with the SHA, the meridian passage time of the planets is also mentioned. This is the LMT meridian passage of the planets. LMT meridian passage of all the 4 planets.
So any doubt up to here, beta?
जो भी हमारे पास दे रखा है सर वो LMT में है मतलब.
That's right, beta. The Marpas time given is in
Okay,
LMT.
sir. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Let's now go to the right-hand side page of the Almanac. The right-hand side page gives you the data about the sun. The first column is for the sun. You can see the GHA and declination of the sun given for all hours every day. So you can get the hourly figure of GHA as well as declination from the daily page. Then next column you have the data given for moon, and for the moon you have the GHA and the declination given for every hour. Now a difference which you will see for moon is you can see the V correction and D correction given for the moon on an hourly basis. It was not so in the case of planets. For the planets, there was a single V correction and D correction for the entire 3 days. But for the moon, as I told you, moon being closest to us is the most complicated of all. So the V correction and D correction for the moon is given for every hour because the V correction and D correction changes on an hourly basis. You can see the V correction at 00 hours was 7.7 and at 01 hours it became 7.8. Same is with the D correction, 8.3 becomes 8.4, 8.5 and so on. So this is the reason why the V and D correction for moon is given for every hour. And as I told you when we were referring to the total correction table for moon, the HP, horizontal parallax of the moon, is given on the daily page for every hour. So you can see the HP of the moon given here for 00 hours, it is 59.5 minutes. This HP is used for getting the HP correction of the moon from the total correction table. Now we go to the right-hand side. In the next column, you see we are given twilight times. The twilight times are given to us. We have the nautical twilight and the civil twilight time given here. The twilight times and all the further times. Next, you have the sunrise time. Then you have the moonrise time for all the dates, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 1 day extra. One next day is also included here. That is the 10th. It is repeated on the next page also. All these times, whether it is the nautical twilight, civil twilight, sunrise, or moonrise, are in LMTs, local mean times. This is not referred to GMT. These are all LMTs. And they are given against the latitude of the observer. You can see starting from 72 degrees north, for every different latitude, you see the time is different. Let's go to the bottom part of the right-hand side page now. We come to the bottom part of the table. This is the first column here. The first column was for the sun. Now at the bottom of this column, you see you have the semi-diameter of the sun given. In this case, it is 16.1 minutes. Now this semi-diameter is applicable for all the 3 days. It remains same, does not change on a daily basis. So 16.1 is the semi-diameter of the moon. May be required if you are doing individual corrections to the altitude. Then you have the D correction to obtain the declination for any minute between the 2 hourly figures. The D correction is given here. The increment for D correction is obtained from the increment table and applied. Now under the moon's column, you see the semi-diameter of the moon given, 3 values are given. These are the 3 different values for the 3 days. The first one for the topmost day, second one for the middle day, and the last one for the bottom day given in the daily page. So this is because the semi-diameter of the moon keeps on changing on a daily basis. You come to the right hand side. Now right hand side, you see the first box for the sun. For the sun, they have given you two parameters here. One is the equation of time. The equation of time is something related to the true sun and the mean sun, which we will discuss separately. So it is given for two times in a day, 00 hours and 12 hours, 11 minutes and 1 second, 10 minutes and 54 seconds, given for the 7th day. And with the equation of time, you have the meridian passage time. This is the LMT meridian passage of the sun. So in this case, 12:11, next day 12:11, next day it is 12:10. Coming to the right, you have the box for the moon. You have the meridian passage time of the moon given, upper and lower Marpas. Now this upper and lower basically stands for upper meridian passage and lower meridian passage. What is this upper and lower meridian passage? Upper meridian passage is on the observer's meridian. Lower meridian passage is on the observer's inferior meridian. Why is the inferior meridian Marpas time given here? This may be required or used in case the moon becomes circumpolar. So this time is used in circumpolar questions when the moon becomes circumpolar, and we are able to observe it when it is crossing the lower meridian or the inferior meridian of the observer. Next, you have the age of the moon and the phase, how much percentage is visible. So the moon is on 28th day, 29th day and 00 day, and you can see it is a new moon day. The 9th is a new moon day. The visibility was 4% on 7th, 1% on 8th, and nothing is visible on 9th. So this was the information provided to us in the almanac.
Beta, any doubt up to here in any of the information?
सर ये जो हॉरिजॉन्टल पैलेक्स दिया हुआ है एवरीडे मून के लिए,
राइट,
और सर जो बैक पेज पे दिया हुआ दैट इज करेस्पॉन्डिंग टू अपर एंड एल्टीट्यूड ना सर?
which page beta other than the daily page? Where?
सर लास्ट पेज पे जो हमने मून के लिए किया था,
लास्ट पेज.
ओके ओके ओके, लास्ट पेज में जो मून का करेक्शन टेबल है, करेक्ट?
जी सर.
ओके, नाउ बेटा जो डेली पेज है हमारा, ये हमें मून का हॉरिजॉन्टल पैरेलैक्स बताता है बेसिस द टाइम. अगर आपको मून का एचपी पता करना है किसी भी पर्टिकुलर टाइम पे, तो आप डेली पेज पे एंटर करोगे. जो लास्ट पेज है वो हमें मून की एचपी करेक्शन बताता है बेसिस द एचपी ऑफ द मून. सो अगर आपको हॉरिजॉन्टल पैरेलैक्स पता चल गया है, आप लास्ट पेज वाले टेबल पे एंटर करोगे एंड इट विल गिव यू द एचपी करेक्शन फॉर द एल्टीट्यूड करेक्शन ऑफ मून.
ओके सर.
ओके, लास्ट पेज डजंट गिव यू द एचपी. Last page gives you the HP correction.
हाँ सर, वो correction for upper limb and lower limb. Okay sir.
Yes, that's right. It gives you the correction, HP correction for the altitude correction of moon. So we had seen the information on the daily page. Let's go to the increment table now.
Let's now go into the increment table. You can see the screenshot of increment table for 46 minutes and 47 minutes. Now you see in the increment table, the first column gives you the seconds. So for each minute and every second, you can get the increment of GHA for all the celestial bodies. The next column after the time column is the sun and planets column. So you see the increment of the sun and planets given in this particular column. Let's say, for example, for 46 minutes and 10 seconds, the increment of the GHA of sun or planets is given as 11 degrees 32.5 minutes. Now, after sun and planets, you have the Aries column. The second data column is the Aries column, and you can see the increment of Aries here. Why two separate columns for sun and Aries? That is because the rate at which the sun and Aries change their GHA is different. So just for your information, the sun changes its GHA at a rate of 15 degrees per hour, and Aries changes its GHA at a rate of 15 degrees 2.5 minutes. That's why the different columns, and you should be careful when you are picking up the increment values from here. You should pick up the value of the increment from the appropriate table as per the celestial body which you are looking for. In case of stars, it will be picked up from the Aries column, and in case of sun and planets, it will be picked up from the sun and planets column. The difference is evident if you see for 46 minutes and 10 seconds, the value for sun was 1132.5, whereas for Aries is 1134.4 minutes. The next column is the increment column for the moon, and you can see the increment values. The rate of change of GHA for the moon is different. The rate of change of GHA for moon is basis 14 degree 19 minutes in this particular table. That is just for your information. So you can see for 46 minutes and 10 seconds, the increment for moon is 11 degrees 1.0 minutes. So these three columns giving you the increment for the GHA of sun, planets, Aries, as well as moon. Now coming to the next part of the table, you can see the next part of the table provides you the increment for V corrections and D corrections. So the V correction and D correction which were given in the daily pages or the day pages of the Almanac were for 1 hour. Now for any particular minute and second, you can find out the increment of V and D correction from here. Let us say, for example, if the V or D correction was given as, let's say, 7.4 minutes, V or D correction value was 7.4 minutes for 1 hour. Then in case of 46 minutes, the increment for that value would be 5.7 minutes. So you can see it here. For a hourly value of V or D, you have the increment which is applicable to this specific minute. So for 46 minutes, the increment for 7.4 D or V value would be 5.7. So this is what is used. The V correction is used for calculating the exact GHA, and the D correction is used for calculating the exact declination at a particular hour, minute, and second.
Now, beta, let me tell you about the concept of V correction, what this V correction actually is. Now, you see this increment table is basically given here for the ease of calculation. Let us say you want to find out the GHA of the sun, and the time for which you want to find is 9 hours 46 minutes and 10 seconds. Now for the hourly value for 9 hours, you will be able to find the GHA from the daily page. For 46 minutes and 10 seconds, you have this increment which is mentioned here as 1132.5. Now this increment is given here so that you don't need to calculate it every time from your calculator and apply it. It has been already calculated and the figures are put here for easy reference to pick up and apply without dependence on the calculator. Now, when you want to find out your increment for a particular minute and second, which is given as 1132.5, this has to be basis the hourly rate of the change of GHA. This is nothing but basically interpolation. If the sun changes its GHA at a rate of 15 degrees per hour, so in 1 hour the GHA changes by 15 degrees, how much will the GHA change in 46 minutes and 10 seconds? That interpolation is done and it is provided here as 1132.5. Even if you do it by your calculator, you will get the same figures. Now the problem with this interpolation is that in the case of sun or in the case of Aries or stars, the rate at which they change their GHA is fixed. The sun moves at 15 degrees per hour. Aries moves at 15 degrees 2.5 minutes per hour. And this rate is constant. There is no change in the rate. But for planets and the moon, now both these bodies, they do not change their GHA at a fixed rate. The rate of change of GHA keeps on changing. On one particular day, the planet may be moving with a speed of 15 degrees per hour. In the next day, or let's say after 10 days, it may be moving with a speed of 15 degrees 2 minutes. Now, if it changes its rate of change of GHA, the increment table becomes redundant. Increment table is basis a fixed value. So the increment table will have some error in that case, because the increment is given on the basis of 15 degrees per hour, but the planet is actually moving at a rate of 15 degrees 2 minutes per hour. So this error is what is called as V correction. So V correction is the difference between the tabulated rate of change of GHA and the actual rate of change of GHA. And this is the reason why it is applicable only for planets and moon, because these are the only two bodies which change the rate or speed at which they cover the GHA. So is the V correction clear now, beta?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Any other doubt, beta, in the increment table or up to here? Anything else you want to ask?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Very
As we will start the numericals, it will be more clear, I guess.
Yes, that's right. So let's continue further then.